Se encuentra de visita aquí por primera vez en la República Mexicana. Estoy hablando de Hozier y tenemos la oportunidad de platicar con Andrew Hozier. First of all, it's an honor. Thank you so much for attending this interview.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
First time here in Mexico. What's your expectations about it?
Yeah, I've told great things about Mexican audiences, so I'm just excited to play a show at last in here, and food is amazing. So I'm thrilled to be here.
Cool. Now, talking about this album, the Hozier album, it's been an amazing album, but it's a different story when you talk about a first album because you have a lot of story behind, and the songs are like the flag to get a record deal. How can you describe the adventure of this album?
Yeah, I think it's a strange time on your first debut. I think for me. I actually, just before the album, I started working on the music for that album. I threw away a lot of older songs, and so that a lot of that was written in the space of maybe 2 years, maybe a year, 2 years. And I think I decided to work on it a lot more on my own. So a lot of it was recorded in my attic, and then I worked with a producer called Rob Kirwan.
And do you have plans at some point to release some of those songs that you didn't take for this album, or not? It's like, okay, it's the end of the story.
Yeah, I hope. A lot of them are kind of just young demos, which some of them I might draw from. Maybe some might pop up again, but for the most part, they're kind of in the wayside.
Cool. Obviously, Take Me to Church, a big, huge success. Tell us a little bit the story behind that song.
Yeah, I've Take Me to Church.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, things with that tune picked up a lot more. It got to such a bigger audience than I thought it would. So I released it initially over, I suppose in September of 2013.
Yeah.
And it just, the video really caught on online, and it kept growing and growing, and it just kind of climbed the charts around the world, and
How hard it was to finish that song, to create that song?
It was one of the longer songs to write.
Really?
I think I had ideas for that song a year before I actually finally recorded it. So that song was maybe written over the space of a year.
And when you finish, you say, because when I interview some artists, when I ask them about their mega hits, they say, sometimes I never imagined that this would be that huge. And there are some other artists that say, yeah, when I finished, I knew there was something special. What was with Take Me to Church?
For me, I was proud of it. I was happy with it, but myself and the producer, we joked, we didn't think it would be on radio. It didn't sound like a pop song to us. It didn't sound like a hit. So I was thrilled. I was amazed that it became the song that it became.
Cool. Now, Someone New, another great single. Tell us a little bit. Why did you choose that song as a single, or it was the label that chose it?
It's sometimes it can be give and take, but I think in that case it was more of a label decision. It's always very difficult to know which foot to put forward next. But yeah, I suppose it's a complete opposite of Take Me to Church. It's like one of the happier, cheerier sounding songs on the album. So maybe it's just to show a little bit aside of that. But it's a lot lighter. The themes as well are just a bit more fun.
And you already started the creating process of what could be a new studio album for Hozier?
Of a new album?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I'm excited. I'm very, very eager to write new music. Yeah. I'm on tour now I'll be on tour for about 2 years. Come March, and when I'll get off tour in March. So I have loads of ideas that I really want to work on, but there's so little time on tour to kind of sit down and write and record. So,
but do you want to maintain that balance between, like you say, these different songs, Someone New and Take Me to Church, the happy side and the kind of sad side? Are you gonna make that balance?
I think so. I think I'll never be able to not write sad songs, and also, kind of more joyous songs too. So what I do like to do is kind of, if you have a happy sounding song that carries something sad about it, or vice versa. You've a song that sounds tragic, but really there's a kind of a good feeling in the center of it, So I kind of like that balance. So I'm sure that'll continue.
Cool. Now, with this success, you have been the opportunity to play in different great scenarios. I'm gonna ask you about 3 of them and tell me what you remember. Start with a great show, in my opinion, Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was a dream come true for me. So, and I think when we did Saturday Night Live, Bill Hader was hosting.
Yeah.
Christian Wiig was back. That was an absolute dream. I was terrified doing it, but all the cast are amazing. All the crew in SNL are incredible people. They're just really kind. really professional, and they made us feel so welcome. So I would do it again in a heartbeat. It's one of those, for me, it was like the dream come true. Yeah.
Now, another one that I believe that it's another dream come true, Grammy night.
Grammy night again, incredible. Yeah, Annie Lennox.
Annie Lennox, it's a master.
Yeah, she's a total legend. So getting to meet her and work with her on that, that was a joy for me. And being around again, that was just a fun night, and everyone was in good form, and there was a good party afterwards. It's the Grammys.
You were a fan from the Eurythmics and from everything that Annie Lennox did before?
Yeah, from like the Eurythmics and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. I have just a lot of respect for her.
What is the most important thing that you learned just for that many hours that you knew her?
We talked a little bit. She talked to me about, I suppose when, like, the kind of craziness of being on tour, and the craziness of being a musician, or like what, I suppose paparazzi and stuff like that. Now, I don't experience all that much, but I found Annie Lennox to be a very grounded, kind of very just down to earth person, and that was very inspiring, and she talked about that for a while.
Now, you were nominated. Did you worry about, okay, I wanna win a Grammy, or not necessarily you care about it?
I mean, I think everyone cares about accolades like that, and of course I would have loved to, but I feel when something is out of your power, when something is out of your hands, it's futile to kind of think about it. So that's as much as you can try to approach it like that. But definitely when you're sitting there and your name is being announced as a nominee,
you're like,
and you have 20 seconds on that. Those few seconds are a long time, and your heart's just But I didn't expect to be nominated for a Grammy, so even that was a joy.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And the other one, Glastonbury.
Mm-hmm. Glastonbury, yeah, it was incredible. Yeah, so I mean that's the kind of for me, growing up in Ireland, and like as a kind of a UK festival, that's just really just the kind of mother festival. It's just enormous, and getting to play to that audience is special. Yeah.
Cool. Now, talking about your past. I was researching that you were in kind of a choral band called Anuna.
Yeah, Anuna, yeah.
Tell us a little bit experience.
Yeah, I think I joined Anuna when I was maybe 15 or 16, and they're like a world music. They do a little like ancient music as well. And the director is a guy called Michael McGlynn, who writes and arranges all of the music. But for me, I mean, I arrived into that. I couldn't really read music. It was but it was like the harmonies are very, very lush, very complex and stuff. And for me, I think that was it was such a joy. I always loved the sound of just voices singing in harmony. So for me, I think there was a real kind of education in harmony. It was a real education in also tone and blend, and just the noises that your mouth can make. Yeah. And I remember it incredibly fondly. I had a lot of fun, but they're fantastic. Yeah.
Cool. Now you're one of the figures for the new generation in Ireland, right? I'm gonna ask you about another one that is not about music, and tell me your opinion. The notorious Conor McGregor.
Oh yeah, Conor McGregor. He's I mean he's a incredibly successful.
I work
fighter.
also for the UFC, so that's why I'm asking you that.
Yeah. I think he definitely. I don't know if I would be able to. I think I don't know. Sometimes I ask whether he was like his confidence is. Maybe he was, whether he's playing a game or, but he definitely, he kind of verges on being the villain, almost, and it definitely makes for media frenzy. So in that.
And I like that he's really proud about being from Ireland.
Yes, yeah, totally. He's kind of, the tricolour on his back, and he is absolutely, and he's an incredibly hard-working person, incredibly driven person. I think I don't know if I've ever met Conor McGregor, but he's just, I guess he's vivacious, he's kind of that unstoppable.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, talking about internet, it's been a huge phenomenon, the social media and everything. Do you think that at the end it helped or it hurt music?
Social media
and internet in general.
The internet, I think as a whole, it's a complex issue. Definitely, it's definitely in the 90s and towards in the kind of 2000s, as piracy kind of became bigger and bigger. Obviously, the industries were still recovering from that, and I think that the music industry is still trying to find its way into navigating that. And because it's a totally changed. It would change the world. But I think ultimately it is strictly for the sharing of ideas. I can only speak for my own career. If it weren't for things like the internet, if it weren't for things like YouTube and kind of sharing platforms, my music was able to get to America and Mexico, like anywhere in the world, in a matter of days or a matter of minutes, in the same time it would to my next door neighbor. And if it weren't for that, I don't think I'd be sitting here kind of, having this conversation. So for me, it was a big part of the music getting around the world.
Okay, cool. Now, Take Me to Church, the first single, it was a big, huge, monumental success. That's make you feel a little bit of pressure for next album, or no, not necessarily?
A little bit, definitely. And I think you have to. There's two minds you can approach an album. After a commercial, now that was not the commercial success of Take Me to Church. Certainly for me, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect a lot of what's happened in the last year. Of being a kind of commercially successful artist, or being considered doing award shows and being part of. And I'm thrilled. I think it's really, really encouraging, and I think it should be massively encouraging for other artists who are sitting in their attics or their bedrooms and could make the same music tomorrow or today.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was doing 2 years ago, but I suppose I didn't start with the idea of commercial success, and so there is a kind of fork in the road. I could go down that route, but ultimately I have to feel that if I'm making music strictly trying to make a hit or trying to make a commercial hit, really I'm straying away from why I make music, which is, to be honest.
It's true. And in my opinion, the success is because you are who you are and you feel what you feel and you're honest about it.
Maybe so. And I was very, very lucky that it worked out that way for me and people connected with that. So I'd love if other people did that too, and I hope to continue trying to do that.
And I guess that is weird for you because, I mean, of course you make the music, you make the creation, but all the boom and everything around is not up to you. So it's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a strange one. Yeah, totally. Yeah. So I was incredibly fortunate the last 2 years. So all I did was like trusted my gut with the first album, and if people liked the first album for what it was, then I'll continue to do exactly what I did before, which is trust my gut and hope for the best.
Cool. Well, the last question, another great single from Eden. Tell us a little bit that song, the story.
Yeah, from Eden was it was a fun one. I suppose I wanted to write something in 5/4 time, so in kind of like an odd time signature as well. But it's kind of a fun maybe story about, like, if you can imagine, as if it's sang by the devil, idealizing falling in love with a woman, you know what I mean, and kind of but I don't know, it's kind of just a fun.
Most of the songs are histories about your life or histories about other.
A little bit of both, a little bit of mix and mash. So
how do you decide? Okay, this story that I just heard, it's worth to write a song about.
I don't know. I can't. Definitely, sometimes when you read something, obviously that finds its way. Everything you watch or you read finds its way into influencing your thought process. I mean, all of the songs kind of start from a personal place, but I think they kind of, once you start writing, you kind of remove yourself a little bit from it, and you maybe look at it as characters rather than your own self. So there's kind of a blurred line between personal experience and the creation then of somebody else, But I don't know. It's kind of it's whatever just feels right, Yeah.
Cool. Well, Andrew Hozier, it's an honor. Thank you so much for attending this interview.
Pleasure talking to you.